All right, welcome back to our Fleet 413 Words of Wisdom, the final one for the frostbiting season. Next week is the Pete Milnes Regatta, and if you're thinking about what you might want to do next weekend, you will not find better sailing than the Pete Milnes Regatta. So come on out to Fort Adams, 11 o'clock skipper's meeting, I believe, 12 o'clock first gun. Great racing. Standing next to me is Mike Marshall, who had a good day today, may have won the day. I'm not sure, I haven't seen the results.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, all right.
Fight on points.
Mike is going to say, what is this, your second or third year with us, Mike?
Well, this year was one, and then there was a gap. It's really, my schedule's pretty tough with it. Right. So I sailed a bunch when I was a junior in the fleet, and but you know, back when I was in high school and in college, and then I got back into it about, what was it, 3 years ago, and then I've done that season 3 years ago, and then I think there was 1 year where I couldn't do anything, and then this year.
So Mike is a professional sailmaker with North Sails. So is this fun, or is this research? What is Fleet 413? Where does it fall into your sailing schedule? Because you do a lot of small keelboats and sort of 2 or 3 man dinghies, right? Which is sort of most of what your year is.
Yeah, I think it's a little of both. It's fun. There's a lot of, this is as fun as sailing in the cold can be, where your hands fall off. I think it's fun, but also I think for me it's keeping myself sharp over the winter time. I mean, there's no other place that you can go out and get a fleet that's 35 boats or 50 boats or however many boats we've had out in the time, and you can get the level of competition and just go out and do 6 starts a day. And that's to me, that's the biggest aspect of it, is just to try and be able to really get that practice in there and keep pushing on that practice and then have fun while doing it.
All right, so today we had 2 races in a southeasterly to finish the day, and then 4 races in sort of a northwesterly or something, I don't know. Anyway, but very different breezes in the sense that in the first 4 races, it seemed the goal was you had to get off the line. The breeze was fairly steady, so a few shifts here or there, and it got very shifty in the second breeze, and the breeze coming off the line. So how did you transition between the 2 breezes, and did you change your approach to the racing between the first 4 races and the second 2? I
think it was I think the approach stayed sort of the same for both of them. It was that I needed to be free. I needed to be able to attack when I wanted to, because the way the shifts were coming down, if you sailed through one, it was 10 boats. You were 10 boats behind. And so in any sense, the first 4 races of the day, the pin was pretty well favored, and I started in the middle of the line every race, just because I could tack, and I knew it was a low risk tack out, tack early. And there was one guy that was going to be, or 1 to 3 guys that were going to be ahead of me at the depth that came out of the pin, and I was just going to try and grind them down, as we went through the race, and it worked. And then the second 2 or the last 2, totally different condition, but I think it was important that you were reading the shifts, and you were using when you had pressure, you were using that pressure to connect to the next pup, because it was very up and down, and you also needed to immediately off the line. One of the things I was working on was immediately off the line determining whether I was lifted or headed, and then once again being able to get free and tack if I was headed, or want to stay straight if I was lifted.
Let's go back to the first 4 races, because it was a little lumpy out there. It was breezier this morning. The breeze slowly backed off a little bit, but we had some leftover chop. How do you get the boat going? How do you get off the line? How do you accelerate a laser in those conditions?
I think the key is about keeping it going, never really stopping. That's off the line acceleration is going to be, you've kept the bow up to keep your hold, keep your space to leeward of you, and then at 5 or 10 seconds, whatever the amount of time is that you're looking for, you've got that space to leeward of you that you can bear off into. You can ease your sails, you can heel to leeward, and then you can use that leeward heel to turn the boat up, and you can flatten as you're coming off the line and be able to get really get out of the just get off the line and get out clean.
All right, last question for you, Mike. Especially earlier when we had that sort of fading northerly, a little bit of left, I wouldn't say lump, but chop.
Yeah.
What were your settings like? How'd you set up your outhaul Cunningham Vang to keep the boat going?
I think I was working on it. For me, there was enough breeze, and at least the first 3, that I was able to really be in the straps, which meant that I was pretty tight on the Vang. Not super tight, but it was, if I eased the main sheet, the boom wasn't going to go up. It was going to be, it was going to go out, but not bending the boom. And with the mast and everything that I've had, I found that I sail with a lot more Cunningham than a lot of other people do. I'm not sure. I think it might be because the mast that I have is a little bit stiffer than you know what most other people, you know, whatever the batch was that it came out of. I end up having to sail with more Cunningham, and so I've been sailing with quite a bit more Cunningham, and I think that was one thing today, that even when it got lighter, you know, there was a good amount of Cunningham on there. And then out haul, I probably had it about, you know, 4 or 5 inches off, and when it got a little lighter, you know, maybe a little more than that, but I think you can get to the point where you have diminishing returns. And I think the game that I had today was to try and go fast at, you know, you keep the bow down, keep going fast, and then the point will come. You know, keep getting the same height as the people around you is going to happen, because your blades are going to be more efficient, everything's going to be more efficient. And so it was, you know, really just keeping going fast when you had waves, you know, head out of the boat, making sure I was looking around to you know, make sure that anytime something was coming, I would transition, let the Cunningham off a little bit, let the bang off a little bit, ease the main, and keep the boat going through the, you know, for whatever was happening. So.
All right, there you have it. Again, we'll wrap it up the season. It's a shame we have to wait 6 months to get back here and do this again, but there's obviously plenty of sailing in Newport for the summer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in November.